Welcome back, guys, to Marathon Gaming. You're about to see a full shop tour of Sore Thumb's retro games in York, and of course we'll head back to the games room after to go through all the pickups. And spoiler alert, there's some heavy hitters and a new console coming into the system. York is a beautiful place. Of course I had to visit CEX first. There was lots of sights to be seen, lots of beers to be drunk, but before heading to Sore Thumbs, I thought, we'll see what's behind those little glass cabinets, see what's in CEX, some of the rarer stuff, some of the Nintendo cardboard, some of the more pricier, high-end games. I didn't film the actual whole shop. I just thought we'd pop in and see what they've got on to offer. There was nothing that caught my eye out of the ordinary from any other CEX. However, this one here, Mario's Time Machine on the Super Nintendo, 185 quid. That game, I think there's only two in existence of CEX, I believe, with a manual anyway. That is a pricey game. I don't know much about it. I watched some footage to see if I'd be interested in it. Is it worth investing in? Is it worth playing? And I think the answer is probably no. Definitely to the first one and maybe the second. That game, it looks very educational. It looks a bit rubbish. So there wasn't much there. But now let's head on to Sore Thumb Retro Games, and I'll stop the commentary and see you in a bit.
Are you ready?
So that's Sore Thumbs Retro Games in York. Now let's pop back to the games room and review some of them pickups. What an absolute shop. The games in there, there was quantity and there was quality. That was a really, really good store. The owner's really nice as well, really nice guy. We got there pretty much bang on. This is on Sunday when we got to the store. It opened at 12 and it's Easter Sunday as well, so I was glad he was still open. I have seen his shop, his stall, stalled out at many gaming markets, Doncaster, Nottingham, Black Country Games Fair, pretty much any event you go to, even in Norwich, I've seen his store. I've probably brought things from him, but I couldn't picture, put a face to the shop, if you know what I mean. I couldn't picture if I had a conversation with a gentleman. I couldn't picture who owned it. So yeah, it's really good to have a chat with the owner. I got my purchases and asked him if it was okay to record. He said it's not a problem. So yeah, really thankful for that. So a big shout out to Sore Thumb Retro Games. I'll put in the description the full address and tag in as best as I can in case anyone does want to visit. Yeah, cracking store, really, really good. Got a couple of bits as well. I was very reserved because I've got so much stuff in this room. I'm trying to really recycle and get rid of things. When I mean recycle, I mean trade in to get other games to make room. Because there's a lot of stuff which goes on the shelf. You have your play and fun out of it, and then you never really go back to it. So I do try to move some stuff on before I bring new things in. And once I've caught up with my backlog. So there was a few Mega Drive games that caught my eye. In particular, I think it's RoboCop 3 as well as Rambo 2. And there was loads of games for some other systems. There was Dreamcast. There was some good Xbox originals. Loads of PlayStation 2 and some big heavy hitters behind the cabinets. But I'm really happy with what I've got. Because basically, I said to the missus before we went in there, I said, look, there's nothing particular I'm looking for. But I'll show you anyway. And it will reveal itself. So, it's just two quick pickups. That's all it is. I was very reserved. Now, one of them, there's some horror games. I said to the wife, I said, look, there's some horror games, but it's Haunting Grounds. We've got a dog in the mansion. That looks awesome. There's some really expensive PS2 games. That's probably more on the lower end of the scale. But I was like, look, if I see any of these, I'm going to have to just go for it. That'd be the purchase. And I won't buy anything for the rest of the month sort of thing. And I saw one of these horror titles, which was probably the best price you're going to see for the game. I'll put up on CEX. Both of these are fantastic cracking deals. Really done well. So, Forbidden Siren, a PS2 game, which I wanted to play, which I haven't played. Just really interested in these horror games. All the horror games always tend to hold value. So if you're gaming on a modern system, even the Switch, if there's any sort of indie quirky titles which are low print or indie developer that are horror based, they're probably going to do very well later on, even if they don't sell well today. That seems to be, is it Michigan Hell Report? And then there's another one, is it Raw of the Rose, which is just outrageously priced, like 500 sheets or something silly. But yeah, Forbidden Siren, I got this for £60. Now, when I say it's a very good deal, I'll put up on CEX how much it is. I'm pretty sure with a manual, it is that at CEX, so it was well priced in that respect. But this is immaculate. And when I say immaculate, talking to the owner, he didn't realise this is the only one he technically had that's complete, because there's actually some postcards that come with it, with the game, in addition to the manual. Not only has he got the postcards on the back, which he's never seen before, so no one kind of... Let me know, if you've got this game and you think you've got it complete, have you got the postcards? That's one thing. Not that it really matters, but some people are really funny about things like that. But also, the postcards are still sealed. It's in the back. I'm not going to... well, actually, we'll open it up. We'll open up the baggie, because that's all this is. This is just a little baggie that we got here. So there's some postcards. Forbidden Siren. And that's just sealed. Just a little thing that comes with the game. But this case, this is really good. And everything's in there, it's immaculate. It really is, as you can see. Really is absolutely immaculate condition. The discs, it's brand new. I don't think someone's played this. It's come from X stock, which is why that's not been open. So I'll slide that in there. So, yeah, that would have cost me the same, if not more, at CEX, and it wouldn't have been complete or in that condition. So, phenomenal to find that, really, because to be honest with you, he could have stuck 10, 20 quid more on it, and I still would have brought it. I probably would have paid... I don't know, I might have paid, up to 80 quid for it, really. I'm pretty sure that's... Well, you can see how much it is. I think it's 60, 65 at CX anyway, and I paid 60 for it. Now, over the moon, because the other thing I said to the wife was, I was like, I don't know if you can see this, I'm trying to hold it off camera. I'll show it to you anyway. Game Gear. Now, I've got a Game Gear, but it's a bit damaged. I didn't know whether to get a modded one, get one someone's tinkered about with a nice new shell. And I'm not so too bothered about it. The price seems to have crept up. You seem to have get them for like 60, 70, 80 quid. Now it's more towards the £100 mark for a loose unboxed one. And when you get on CEX, you want to see it in the store because you don't know what scratches it's got, what condition it's got. It's just a black console. However, if you're going to buy a Game Gear, you're better off getting it from an independent retro store because they'll tend to check things over, recap them, and whatnot that they do with them. And that's exactly what they do at Saw Fun Retro Games. And he told me how much he was selling for, like recap, 90 quid, which I believe is still £10 cheaper than CEX. And you haven't got to pay for postage, and you can view them, blah, 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 blah. However, he had a box one. The only thing missing is the AC adapter, which is why it's priced so cheaply. But I can just get that myself. All the inserts are there. And apparently you can use a Sega Megadrive charger, is what I've been informed as well. Obviously, you can put batteries in it. Back in the day, we used to put batteries in it when it was a car charger. But the batteries used to last like 1 hour. It was absolutely terrible. I had a TV tuner and everything for this. Absolutely loved it. Because I loved the Game Boy, but this was colour and it was a bigger screen. It was awesome, really was. But yeah, so I was a bit blasé of it. I was like, I'm not going to rush, but if I see one at some point in good condition, then I'll get it because there's some fantastic games, you know, for the Game Gear. I've got Beavis and Butthead sitting there that I can't even play at the moment on a working Game Gear. And it's a good thing to collect for because a bit like Game Boy cartridges, not just the price, but you can collect them loose and you can fit a whole collection in a shoebox of 100 games. It doesn't take up space on the shelf. But the actual box one, I wasn't really that worried about with the Game Gear because it's not what I would call a sexy box, if you know what I mean. You know, there's certain consoles I've got where I'm not bothered about the box. So looking around in television, fantastic example. I'll put a picture up. The box art, it's not very sexy. It's a bit boring. And that's how I feel with a Game Gear. So I'm going to show you what a normal Game Gear looks like. It's that sort of graph paper that you remember from science back at school. And it was just a picture of the game on it, you know, the Game Gear on the front. Now, I'm sure there's other variations like columns, not very exciting, with a picture of that on the front. But to have this artwork with actual Sonic the Hedgehog included on it, I think is probably one of the more prettier box art variants that you can get for the Game Gear. And I'm pretty sure there isn't many. I think there's only a few. So if I was going to get a box Game Gear, this will probably be the one I'm looking for. So for a difference price, you know, I've literally paid 20 quid more for a box. This is £125. This cost me £125 from Saw Fun Retro Games because the AC adapter's missing. And let's be honest, I'll put up on the screen, I'm pretty sure boxed is 150 quid. And that wouldn't be with Sonic included or this variation box art. So an absolute steal is what I thought straight away. So absolutely over the moon to get that. And I'm going to start collecting now for the Game Gear. I've already had a little look. So I'm going to start going to some of my local retro gaming shops, trade some stuff in and see if I can build up a little Game Gear. So we'll do a little separate series for the Game Gear. So that would be absolutely awesome. But yeah, absolutely thrilled to find these two bits. Really, really was. And yeah, so I managed to spend, you know, almost £200. Yeah, 180 quid. Without, you know, just in a couple of purchases. I'm glad I didn't spend any more. But yeah, I'll put all the details up of Saw Fun Retro Games. So you can see a little map on there. 7 Gilwey Gate, York, Y031. 7 EA. But if you're from York, I'm sure you know. But a lovely place to visit. I'll go back in the summer because they've got a really nice race course there as well for the old horse racing. We had a good time up there. We did like ghost tours and all this stuff. Saw the most haunted pub in Europe. Didn't realise how haunted York was. I really didn't. But yeah, absolutely awesome. Just on another note, before we sign off this video, next gaming expo that I think I'm going to, unless Nottingham is before this, I'm going to Nottingham Gaming Expo as well. But Revival, which is on the 8th and 9th of June, up at Wolverhampton Racecourse. There's quite a few people going up to there, so we're going to be stopping over, having a few beers and having a laugh. So if you are going, please give us a shout. And we'd have a chat about all things gaming and whatnot and have a little drink. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'm Scott Marathon Gaming. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment most importantly, because that really helps the algorithm. And I'll see you guys soon in another video. Cheers.